Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. When you think of Elvis Presley, you'd probably think of the slick back hair, the swiveling hips, and that unmistakable voice that crowned him the king of rock and roll. But Elvis had another great passion, one that was just as flashy and iconic as his gold lame suits. His incredible car collection. The king wasn't just a music legend. He was a serious gear. He bought over 200 cars in his lifetime, not just for himself, but often on a whim for friends, family, and sometimes complete strangers. His taste was extravagant, powerful, and always ahead of the curve. Today, we re-dive in deep into the garage of Graceland and beyond to count down the top 10 most legendary cars from Elvis Presley's personal collection. These aren't just vehicles. They're pieces of rock and roll history. So buckle up, because we're about to take a ride through automotive royalty. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a car that screams 1950s Americana, the 1956 Lincoln Continental Mark II. When Elvis's career exploded in '56, he needed a ride that matched his newfound suit. The Continental Mark II was the epitome of luxury at the time, even more expensive than a Rolls-Royce. It was exclusive, elegant, and powerful. Elvis owned this pristine white beauty during his early fame, cruising it around Memphis. This car symbolized his arrival. He was no longer just a kid from Tupelo. He was a star, and he had the ride to prove it. While he owned it for a relatively short time, it set the standard for the kind of high-end, statement-making vehicles that would define his collection for years to come. Cruising into the number 9 spot is the formidable 1971 the Tommaso Pantera. By the early 70s, Elvis was the king of the Las Vegas stage, and he wanted a car with the same kind of wild energy. The Pantera was the perfect fit. This Italian-American hybrid sports car, with its aggressive styling and a powerful Ford V8 engine, was a beast. But the relationship was a bit fiery. The story goes that one day, when the car wouldn't start, a frustrated Elvis pulled out a pistol and shot it in the steering wheel. The car, complete with a bullet hole, is now a prized exhibit. This incident perfectly captures the passionate and sometimes explosive relationship Elvis had with his machines. It wasn't just a car. It was a character in the drama of his life. At number 8, we have a car that showcases Elvis's futuristic taste, the 19 Ferrari Dino 308 GT4. After a string of American luxury barges, Elvis decided to go for some sleek Italian flair. He bought this mid-engine sports car secondhand in 1976. The 308 GT4 was a bit of a departure for Ferrari. With its 2+2 seating and angular Bertone design, Elvis's black Dino became a familiar sight around Memphis. It showed that even later in his life, he still had an eye for performance and cutting-edge style. He was a global superstar, and his garage reflected that, embracing the best of both American muscle and European engineering. This Ferrari was a testament to his evolving, yet always impeccable taste. Rolling into number 7 is a true one-of-a-kind creation. The 1960 Lincoln Continental Mark V Elvis Limo. This wasn't just any car. It was a custom-built masterpiece. Elvis sent a brand new Lincoln to the famous auto customizer George Barristay man behind the Batmobile. The result was a limousine fit for a king. It featured a gold-plated interior, a television, a telephone, a refrigerator, and even a shoe buffer. The exterior was painted in a stunning 40 coats of pearl essence paint made with crushed diamonds and fish scales. This car was pure, unadulterated Elvis. It was over the top, luxurious, and designed for entertainment. It was less a mode of transportation and more a mobile palace, showcasing his larger-than-life personality. At number 6, we have the king of all muscle cars, the 1970 Mercedes-Benz 600. If you were a head of state, a tycoon, or a rock and roll monarch in the 70s, this was the car to own. The Mercedes 600 was a technological marvel, an armor-plated fortress of luxury. Its complex hydraulic system powered everything from the windows to the trunk. Elvis owned 2 of these German masterpieces, and they were his preferred vehicles for being chauffeured in style. These cars projected power, authority, and immense wealth. When Elvis pulled up in a 600, There was no mistaking who had arrived. It was the ultimate statement of status, a car that was as imposing and legendary as the man himself. Now, we're re-entering the top 5 with a car that Hollywood, the BMW 507. This is arguably one of the most beautiful cars ever made, and Elvis owned one while he was stationed in Germany with the US Army. Originally pearl white, the car was constantly being covered in lipstick kisses and phone numbers from adoring female fans. To solve this rather unique problem, Elvis had the car painted a vibrant red. He used it to travel between his off-base home and the Army base, turning heads everywhere he went. With only about 250 ever made, the 507 was already a rare gem. But having been owned by Elvis makes this particular one a priceless piece of automotive and pop culture history. In the number 4 spot is a car that brought some German luxury to Graceland, the 1958 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. While stationed in Germany, Elvis fell in love with European sports cars. Though he couldn't get his hands on the legendary Gullwing version, he ordered the equally stunning Roadster model. It was a symbol of sophistication and engineering excellence. However, the story takes a turn. Annoyed by mechanical issues, Elvis reportedly traded this automotive icon for a new fur coat for his girlfriend. While it might seem like a crazy trade today, it's a classic Elvis story, impulsive, generous, and always living in the moment. The 300 SL represents his brief but passionate love affair with European performance cars during his time in the Army. Our bronze medal at number 3 goes to a car that was part of a legendary publicity stunt, the 1961 Rolls-Royce Phantom V. When Elvis signed his first major post-Army movie contract with producer Hal Bayless, he celebrated by ordering this bespoke Rolls-Royce. It was one of the most expensive cars in the world. But when it arrived, his mother apparently complained about the chickens in her yard pecking at their reflection in the gleaming black paint. So, Elvis had the car repainted a custom shade of blue, and it became an iconic part of his fleet for years, equipped with a telephone, air conditioning, and a top-of-the-line sound system. This car wasn't just transportation. It was a throne on wheels. And the runner-up at number 2 is the iconic pink Cadillac. While Elvis owned several pink Cadillacs, the most famous is the 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special. He originally bought it in blue, but had it custom painted a rosy hue that he called Elvis Rose. This car became a symbol of his love for his mother, Gladys. He gave it to her as a gift, though she never had a driver's license. So Elvis and his band used it for touring in the early days. After a roadside fire, it was repainted and has remained in the Presley family ever since. The pink Cadillac is more than just a car. It's a pop culture icon, forever linked with the image of early rock and roll and Elvis's meteoric rise to fame. And finally, taking the number 1 spot on our list of Elvis Presley's legendary cars is the 1973 Stutes Blackhawk 3. This was, without a doubt, the King's favorite car. And there you have it, a look at 10 of the most incredible cars from the collection of the one and only Elvis Presley. Each one tells a story about his life, his fame, and his unmatched style. Which one was your favorite? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, stay legendary.